Today on Toledo Cars, we drive around in our new project car and we talk about car insurance. Hey guys, Kyle from Toledo Cars. Sorry I've been a little behind on getting out car videos. Had a lot of things going on, including this new project car, which is a 1990 325 IS. I will have a full review on it for you this weekend. I've gotten it just good enough to drive around and sort of see, what else it needs, and that's what I'm out doing today. And while I'm doing that, I want to tell you guys about car insurance. There's some things that I think get under-communicated that don't get, really properly explained, in advice videos on car insurance. And to give you a little bit of my background, for those of you that don't know, don't know me personally, maybe you're new to the channel or things like that, I am an Ohio licensed attorney, and from time to time I do handle car accident litigation. So I've seen these sort of scenarios. I know how these things play out financially on the litigation end of a car accident, and I know that there's really important coverage that you absolutely need, to protect yourself and to make sure that you get paid if you do get in an accident that's somebody else's fault. There's really important coverage that a lot of you may be missing that you really need to have. So the first thing I want to talk about is the limits of liability that you carry. So these are the numbers that are on your policy. The state minimum in Ohio is $25,000, $50,000, and $25,000. So it's $25,000 for medical damages, pain and suffering, and then for one person in the accident, $50,000 for the combined people in the car, and then $25,000 in property damage. And this protects you from the liability that you would owe to other people. So let's say I rear end somebody, as I'm driving down the road, it's my fault. My limits of liability would step in and pay those other people in place of me owing them, because without that insurance, I personally would owe them that money. So guys, my advice to you on this, and keep in mind, I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer. I'm just sort of talking generally. So, if you need to get, personal advice on these things of how much liability insurance, coverage you need, if you have other considerations that you're worried about, go hire a lawyer, go hire, a professional advisor. But this is just sort of general things that you should be thinking about, general sort of states of the law. Anyway, guys, protect yourself, protect all of your assets. So combine all of your assets into one pool. This is going to be your house. This is going to be any other property that you own, all of your vehicles, all of your expensive watches, all of your cash in any accounts that you have, all of your investment accounts, all of your retirement accounts. Pull that up into one figure, right? So, and then basically take that number, and I would double it or triple it, depending on how much you make. And that's how much, limits of liability you need, because what you need to do is you need to protect your future earnings. So if you get in an accident, it's your fault. Someone can garnish your future wages. You need to protect that. And then you also need to protect the financial value of all of your assets. So that's what I would do in that situation. And most of you guys are going to need to max out the insurance policy you get. That's what I would do. Liability coverage is really inexpensive. It's worth maxing that out. I carry a $250, $500, $250 liability coverage. So if I cause an accident, if my damages that I've caused don't exceed $250,000 per person, or $500,000 per accident, and $250,000 in property damage, there's no way that I can be financially liable. They can't come take my house. They can't come take my bank accounts. They can't come garnish my wages. So I'm pretty comfortable at that for now. I will increase that and probably get an umbrella policy as I get older and as I accumulate more assets. But for right now, I think that's that's okay. The next thing, which I think is arguably more important, is uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. So if you don't know and you don't have this policy, this type of policy, you absolutely need to go get it. What this does is this policy takes the place of the other person who has caused an accident and hurt you, smashed up your car, caused you medical pain and suffering. And what it does is it steps in to pay you what they would owe you above and beyond any insurance that they have. So let's say you get T-boned at an intersection and you get hit by somebody who has no insurance. If you don't have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, you walk away with nothing, right? You may have the comprehensive coverage on your vehicle. Your insurance is required to fix your vehicle. But if you don't have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, and you don't have medical pay coverage, which is a different but sort of related coverage, you're going to walk away with nothing. You're going to be on the hook for all of your hospital bills. No one's going to step in and pay your pain and suffering. No one's going to step in and pay your lost wages. You're basically going to get nothing. Yeah, your car might get fixed if you have full coverage, but in reality, you're going to get nothing. Let's take that same accident and you have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. What's going to happen is your uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage carrier, your car insurance, is going to calculate all of the damages that this other person owed you, right? So all the pain and suffering that they caused, all of the lost wages, all of the medical bills, all of those things. And if you're in a pretty serious accident, it's not uncommon for these things to be $200,000, $300,000, even more if you're maybe you lose a limb or something excessively morbid like that. You could be in a position where you're owed a lot of money. Well, what'll happen is your insurance will first look to that other person. Let's say they have no insurance, no assets, they can't pay. Well, if you have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, your insurance will then step in and pay you what that person would have owed you up to the limit of your uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. So, guys, it really makes sense to max this out. I have it absolutely maxed out on my policy, and that's because I realize that most people out there causing accidents, they're not exactly financially responsible. They don't have assets, they don't have income, they don't have good insurance. And I realize that if somebody causes an accident, there's a significant, very significant chance that they're not going to have the money to pay me what I'm owed. So I want my uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage to step in, pay me what I'm really owed, which, if I'm seriously hurt, I have a lot of pain and suffering. Let's say I have $50,000 in medical bills. I have, significant pain and suffering. I miss, a week of work. Maybe I'm out with, a bad concussion or something like that. Maybe I have to miss work for a surgery, things like that. In reality, for that type of injury, I'm probably going to be owed $150,000 to $200,000, maybe more, maybe $250,000. Just sort of depends how it all shakes out. And guys, with my uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, my insurance will write me a check for anything above and beyond what the other person's insurance will cover. So, that's such a financial windfall, and this coverage is inexpensive. Absolutely, go get it. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't have this. It doesn't make financial sense to not have it. The risks are too great. There's too many idiot drivers out there on their phones, filming YouTube videos, doing stupid stuff that are underinsured and won't be able to pay you what you're really owed. So, guys, that's my recommendation. Go out there, get this coverage, make sure you have it. Take a look at your insurance, take a look at your assets, look at these things holistically, make sure that you're covered, and make sure that you're going to be paid and compensated, if you get in a serious car accident. I think that's really important, and hopefully I've given you some good things to think about. I may have, helped you guys, get a significant sum of money if you are ever to get into a car accident, which is, you know, unfortunate, but these things happen. They're real things that happen to everyday people. Sometimes, you know, you can't even control it. The last car accident I was in, I was actually stopped making a left-hand turn in the middle of the road, you know, a 2-lane road, and the person behind me never saw me. He didn't even hit the brakes, slammed into me at 55 miles an hour, totaled the car I was in. It was a Pontiac GTO. I love that car. I really miss that car. But, you know, because I had extra insurance coverage and I had, I was, you know, well set up for coverage, and I was actually really fortunate that the person who hit me did have decent coverage and was able to cover my damages. I was okay, but, you know, that could have easily happened with somebody that didn't have insurance, and I would have been out a ton of money in medical bills and things like that. And even from going to the hospital in an ambulance, that charge was between $4,000 and $5,000. So I would have had to pay that if this other person didn't have good insurance. And I was lucky that they did. And since then, I've learned about uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage. And, you know, once I figured it out, once I understood it by litigating it, I made sure that I've maxed out that policy ever since. It's a really smart thing to do. It'll help you guys in the future. So thanks, guys. We will see you on Sunday with a full review of this 1990 325 IS. It's a BMW. It's an E30. Pretty cool car. It's a nice classic. I have a lot of good things to say about it. BMW really did a great job with these when they were built. They're fun cars. They're nice. But we'll be back on Sunday with a full review of this. And until then, watch some of my other videos if you haven't already. We have a great video on the Jeep. We have a video on Klaus the Barbarian. Really cool. He was recently featured, in a Hot Wheels contest, so he may be turned into a Hot Wheel. Pretty neat. So, thanks, guys. I want to say thank you to all the subscribers. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you on Sunday with a full review.